everyone, it's Miranda here with the Graphic 45 design team, and I've got a project to share with you guys today. And what I'm creating are 3 little wooden blocks using the Steampunk Spells collection from Graphic 45. It's the Halloween meets Steampunk debutante line, and I just cannot get enough of this line, y'all. So what I wanted to create here was kind of like some wooden letters that are going to say boo, a letter on each block. So these are just some decorative wooden blocks. The front side of them have a little ornate like shape on them, but I'm just using the backs of them so that it's a nice flat even surface. And what I'm doing now is I'm just taking a foam brush and I'm painting the whole thing black, paying close attention to the edges and everything because I'm not going to line the sides with paper, and I just want it to be nice and finished off. And then if my paper falls short just a fraction of an inch, it'll be nice and black. So now I'm taking the paper that I want to use, and these are from the patterns in solids, but I do use some from the main collection as well. But I just love the patterns in solids because they make such an easy background, and then you can add like the fussy cut elements of the main collection on top of it. So I've got them all cut down, and I believe it was like 4.5 by 4.5 is what these blocks, the size are. And I'm distressing them up right now using my Tim Holtz distress tool. And I'm being pretty rough on the edges of them. I want them to be really, really distressed. And now I'm taking black soot distress ink and a dauber, and I am just inking them up really, really good. I want them to be nice and grungy. The good thing about this paper and Halloween and stuff is you can get really dark and grungy with it, and it looks really good. So I'm taking some Aleene's tacky glue. Now this is my glue of choice when it comes to using like paper on things, unless it's metal or something, but I just love Aleene's tacky glue. And I'll put a really liberal amount on there, and then I always use my finger to spread it out perfectly evenly because I don't like to just set it down on top of my raised glue areas because I feel like it just doesn't look as right. Sometimes I'll get little like bumps in my paper, so I like to smooth it out really good. And you'll also see me use a paper towel quite often and just rub on top of my paper once it's on there because again I think it just flattens your paper out really well. I'm taking the Pumpkin Power piece of paper from the collection, the 12 by 12 size, and I'm fussy cutting 4 balloons out of the same size in there. You get a bunch of balloons on this paper, so I'm picking a smaller size, kind of like in between the smallest one and the biggest one, and I'm just cutting them out, and I'm going to make a 3D hot air balloon. So I'm just going around and cutting those sizes out on my paper. It makes it so easy for y'all to create your own like 3D hot air balloons. They're already here for you. All you gotta do is fold them in half. So I'm fussy cutting them out. And these are my little baby scissors. They are Singer, like sewing scissors, and they are just perfect for fussy cutting. I had a small Martha Stewart pair, but now that I got these are even smaller, and it's just perfect for fussy cutting. I'm not very accurate with a craft knife, so I tend to like scissors better. But these are really small, and you can really get into little areas very well. So I'm just going to keep cutting all these balloons out until I get 4 of them. Now I'm taking some of the floral elements from the paper collection. This is one of my favorite parts of the collection, is all the gears and flowers and stuff. I just love the colors. So I'm just fussy cutting some of those out, keeping the little gears on there as well. I use some of the 12 by 12 and then some of the 8 by 8 as well for just different sizes. And I'm going to layer those in different dimensions on top of one of those blocks. So I'm just going to keep cutting around until I get a bunch of little pieces cut out to use on the middle block. Okay, now that I've got those hot air balloons and my other elements fussy cut, I'm going to start making my 3D balloon. And like I said, all you have to do is fold them in half. And I'm sorry that I take my hands off frame a little bit, but all I'm doing, y'all, is taking these balloons and folding them exactly down the center. Very easy to do, and then I just spread them apart just a tiny bit. And I'm using the Aleene's tacky glue again. I'm putting them on one side of the paper and then putting the next folded up one directly against that one, making sure it's nice and even, that no balloon is sticking out a little further than the other one. Like I said, I go off frame a little bit when I'm doing this step, so I apologize for that, y'all. But I've done a lot of 3D hot air balloons. Sometimes I use chipboard if it's going to be a bigger one, but ones that are this small, paper to paper is perfect. And this one's not even going to go all the way around. It's going to be glued flat onto the block. So it's a really fun way, and you can do this with any die cut, y'all. I have tutorials on this on my channel, but I've done dress forms, hot air balloons. There's so many different things you can do to make things 3D. All you need is the shape cut out. So that's what it looks like. And now I'm going to start working on my middle block, and I have these gear die cuts that a friend sent me. I'm not sure exactly which die these are, so I apologize, but they are just the perfect decorative, fancy little gears to go with this collection. So I'm just going to kind of layer those in the background and then layer my floral elements that I fussy cut out on top of it. So I placed it down with glue and it had a little bit seeping out, so I just use a paper towel to get that up. So after I fussy cut all of my images, I always go around my edges of them with, if not black distress ink, I'll use like frayed burlap or something, but I always go around any fussy cut image with some kind of ink, because it just gets rid of that white core color from the paper, and it just really polishes it, makes it look better. So something you'll see me do a lot is I take my chipboard coordinating embellishments, and after I've already punched my chipboard pieces out of them, you have all these little like leftover bits, and I always use those for dimensionals. I like to recycle, so I always use those, or any kind of cardboard, chipboard boxes, anything you get that you can recycle. I've never bought pop dots, I just use what I have on hand. So you'll see me doing that a lot, just using my leftover chipboard pieces around the edges of that chipboard embellishment sheet. And for this, I'm putting like one on some of them, I'm putting two of them together on some, just different levels of the flowers on there. So it's nice and layered and dimensional. And then you'll see me tucking more of those little gears on the inside there. And now I've got a little muse token from Tim Holtz, and it says Trick or Treat, so it was perfect to go with this. And I took a little circle piece from the banner, coordinating banner sheets, and I put that there. Now I'm going to start gluing down my hot air balloon and working on my third block over there. And that one I kept kind of simple. I just love, love, love these butterflies right here that are in the paper. And I cut them out of a couple of different sheets in the paper collection in two different sizes as well. And I just love these little butterflies. They're so cute. So I'm placing one kind of coming out of the hot air balloon, and then the other ones will just be randomly on there. But this is like bar none the best paper collection. I'm telling you guys, I cannot stop using. I'm going to be bummed when Halloween is over and I don't have an excuse to use it anymore, but there are elements in this paper that you can use, and it doesn't have to be Halloween themed. Like, I mean, for instance, just the butterflies right there and the hot air balloons, that doesn't mean Halloween, and the gears and stuff. So there's a lot of things you can use outside of Halloween as well in this paper collection. Okay, so now I'm just placing my elements for the first one, and that's a chipboard piece that I cut in half. Okay, now I'm taking my chipboard letters that I'm going to use, and these are from Imaginarium Designs. All of the chipboard I use on this one are from Imaginarium Designs, and like I said, they just say Boo, and I'm inking them with Black Soot Distress ink, and that's a flourish piece right there. It was one piece, and I just cut it in half so it can go on the first block and the third block. I'm just inking them all up, just the fronts of them, because they're going to be glued down and the back's not going to show. Okay, so now I'm embossing them. I'm just using a Versamark pad, and you can see there the ink wasn't dry all the way, so I kind of inked up my pad, but it's no big deal. All of my supplies stay like continuously grungy. And now I'm just using some black embossing powder that has a gold tint to it, a really shimmery gold sheen to it, to emboss my letters and my flourishes there. And for some reason, every time I'm filming a tutorial and I'm using embossing powder, I end up making a mess. But when I'm doing it just by myself, it's fine. But for some reason, I made a pretty big mess on this one, so I kind of took that part out of the video because it was just long and me just spilling the embossing powder everywhere. But you can see there with the time lapse showing you when you start heating that embossing powder just how pretty it is. I just love, love, love embossing. I feel like it's something that's kind of forgotten nowadays with scrapbookers, like we've moved on to other things, but I'm still a huge fan of embossing. I think it's just awesome. It was actually one of the first things I ever bought as a scrapbooker was inked and embossing powders, because I just thought it was so cool when I saw videos of it. So now I'm just adhering all of my elements down, and I'm using Fabri-Tac for this. Like I said, I use Aleene's for anything paper, but for chipboard or anything lightweight metal or something, I'll use Fabri-Tac. And then if something's really heavy duty or, you know, really metal to metal or just something heavy, I use E6000. And then I use hot glue a lot for flowers and stuff. So I use 4 different glues that I keep constantly in my stash that I have to have, and those are them. I have a flower there that I created with the flower sheet that coordinates with the steampunk spells, and I cannot make a handmade flower to save my life, but these were already punched for you and they're so easy, you guys. So even if you think you can't make flowers, Graphic 45 does the work for you. So I just love, love, love to make those little flowers right there. All I do is bend up the petals and then curl them back with like a paintbrush and you're good to go. So I'm just adhering my boo words or my boo letters where I want them to go. And I'm going to, I don't show this step for some reason, I forgot to film it, but I hinged together these, which you'll see in the pictures. Each one has a little metal golden hinge from each block so that it can kind of like trifold. So I'm just playing around with a few more elements. I fussy cut that little owl out and I think it's just absolutely adorable. And I'm using some of the chipboard embellishments there. The one that says Love Potion and one of the clocks. And then I put another little clock center on top of the chipboard clock and it really gives it a lot of dimension. Just placing my butterflies and everything, just finishing touches. And I find when I use Graphic 45 papers, you guys, all the embellishments are already there for you. I don't pull from my stash like I do when I'm using another brand. I don't know what it is, but Graphic 45 like just is perfect, you guys. You don't have to use anything else with it. So this is pretty much it, you guys. I hope that you like my tutorial and my project. If you have any questions on anything I did, just leave me a comment down below. And of course, check out the Graphic 45 blog. I will link it in the description bar. And I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye, y'all.